Eli Roth, thank you again. It's awesome to talk to you a second time, so really appreciate that. And here we are. Thanksgiving's coming out on VOD and Blu-ray. And first of all, thank you for doing a director commentary. I feel like it's becoming a lost art these days. Was that something you had to insist on?
No, they're great. I always shoot stuff for the extras. I always
Yeah.
keep a gag reel. I keep a log of deleted scenes that I try to sound design as much as possible. I'm from the Laserdisc generation, so I love getting those discs that are loaded with extras. And
Yeah.
even when we were shooting, I gave all the cast 1999 handy cams so that we could shoot the video so it looked like Blair Witch style for their POV of behind the scenes of the making of the movies. The cast members all were allowed to shoot whatever they wanted. And the nice thing, since it was on tape, we could take it and digitize it. The best moments. It was great. I love doing a commentary, and to do it with Jeff Rendell, as my best friend, is pretty hilarious.
Awesome. Awesome. One of the things I keep hearing whenever I read any stories about the cast and their perspective is that your sets are some of the most fun sets. So I'm curious, being a director, and you've been a director for a while, how do you balance that sense of fun on set while ensuring everybody's professional and things get done on time and everyone knows their lines? I feel like it's a real fine balance.
Yeah, I think you don't try to win everyone over. You don't try to be the party guy or the fun guy. You come in prepared, and you come in prepared to work.
Yeah.
And you make sure that everyone is prepared. And if everyone is prepared and do your job, it should be a joyous experience. The joy isn't we're having a good time goofing off and telling jokes. The joy is, oh my God, that we came up with something really funny. That take is great. That line is hilarious. That's the satisfaction, because the rest of our lives are filled with anything that other than making movies. Like, you get these 30 precious days to get on set, and this is our shot to make a classic. So for me, it's getting everyone in that mindset and being prepared with the DP and being prepared with shots. Sets are miserable when someone is being a dickhead or the director's not prepared. Someone's in a bad mood and they're taking it out on everyone, and everyone has their days. Everyone has their moments. You have to create this environment where if someone's having a bad day, you just pick them up, because we're all going to have them. You make it not a big deal, and you cheer them up and you lift them up, and it's going to elevate everything so that there are no bad days.
Yeah.
And that you invite everyone was on set, hanging out, having a good time. It was such a fast shoot that they didn't want to miss anything, and they wanted to be there to support everybody. And you could say if it's an emotional scene for Nell, the ending, I know she wants 10 people around with handy cams. And we discussed it before, and everyone's, oh, cool. No one's offended. Everyone's, no, we want her to feel great about it. But then maybe during the scene with the dinner, by day 2, everyone's, we got this. We're like screaming and crying, and then going and hanging out in the green room, playing guitar and watching everyone's takes and joking around. But you have to have this environment of trust where everyone feels supported and everyone's trying to help each other be great. And that's when it becomes fun. And look, we just got lucky. Sometimes you get cast members that are difficult, and we just got lucky that everyone was cool. Everyone was great. I really love the cast, and you can see that comes through. We said the only way we're going to believe you guys are all really close friends is if you are, to a certain extent. And they all made the effort. They all did. They all hung out all the time and really liked each other. We just got lucky. It was the right mix.
The good thing is all the survivors get to do it again, hopefully for Thanksgiving too. So I'm sure you're semi-tight-lipped. Now that Thanksgiving has transcended a single movie into a franchise, how are you thinking in terms of slasher franchise rules? Because you have a new slasher world, new mythology. How has this shifted in your brain towards what you're going to do in terms of a franchise?
I try to eliminate the word franchise and just think of it like another movie I'm making, but not universe and franchise. That stuff I think doesn't help me creatively. I just try to think as a fan, I just paid my money on a Friday night to go see this opening night. And I'm sitting in the theater and the screen was dark and the light comes up and I'm like, this better be good.
Yeah.
And what do I want to see? What am I expecting? What am I hoping for? And what is it like? Whoa, I did not see that coming. And you want to give those. You want to give like, all right, the moment where the return of a familiar character you love, go deeper into their world a little bit, and then enter some new people, all of those various things. But Jeff and I are now just going through, it's a choose your own adventure book called Thanksgiving 2. You just go down this chapter and thought, oh, you're dead. Oh, stop. So it's writing, you're like driving in the dark or in the fog. You're like, I think I know it this way. I think we go this way. I think we go this way. One of the great things about Sony is they're so supportive first when releasing a horror movie in November, which no one had done, releasing one at Thanksgiving time. Good for them for taking that chance. And the fans obviously for showing up. But it's now just this process of us. We don't have to rush it. If I had a movie for 2024, I'd already have to be in prep, meaning I'd have to have written a script over Christmas, just knock one out in 3 weeks. And I don't think anything great comes from that. I think you do need to, sometimes it just pours out of you. Hostel did, but this, I really need to take our time to figure it out. And that's what we're going to be doing the next few months. We'll have a script and we'll shoot it either this year or early next year, but we're ready for fall of 2025.
Awesome. So Thanksgiving represents a real return to form for you. It had been a while since you did a hard R, gory, scary movie. So before Spielberg does any movie, there's 4 movies he watches: Lawrence of Arabia, It's a Wonderful Life, Seven Samurai, and The Searchers. Was there anything that you watched to reground yourself in your sensibility for Thanksgiving or just in general?
There's certain movies that you wanted I always watch the stuff of the tone of the movie I'm making, or stuff to break my brain up a little bit. So one of the movies I went to actually a 35 screening of was Mute Witness, Anthony Waller's film. It's an amazing film, completely underrated. It's such great cat and mouse slasher, especially the first 45 minutes of that movie are jaw-droppingly perfect. And I loved it. I like it more and more every time I watch it. There's so many great things about that film. So, then I went back and watched like the classic slasher movies, but really for me, if I was looking at a film that I wanted it to look, there's The House That Screamed, Sterador's film is one of those movies, but it depends on the genre. And then other times I like to stop watching. You don't want to overdo it. I don't want to infect yourself too much, because then you find you're trying to recreate what someone else did as opposed to just seeing what's in front of you and going to a location and discovering it. The Vanishing is one of those greats, the Dutch version, obviously, but that's one of those movies that you'll always go back to and just go, wow, this is a perfect film. But in this one, it was definitely Mute Witness for sure.
Nice. So when coming up with new kills, what is your process for coming up with something that's gory and different and awesome? Do you walk the aisles at Home Depot? Do you read Grey's Anatomy? How do you come up with new and inventive kills?
All you have to do is look for a parking spot at Whole Foods and wait for someone to take your spot, and you'll have 200 kills instantaneously. No, I have a laundry list of kills and things I wanted to do, ways to put them in movies, but Jeff and I will talk about it. I'm like the oven kill. And then me and Milan and Jeff, we went to Jeff's, there's this barn. Did you see that barn? Because next to the McCarty party house, there was this old barn, and we're like, we never got to shoot in there. And we're like, we went in there and we thought the basement of it was so good. It was so big. We're like, this be the prep room. And then I thought what can we do for the cat and mouse? And then there was the kitchen of the McCarty house that we hadn't used, that I loved it because it was like a Texas Chainsaw Massacre kitchen. So we're like, and then we were in the barn and we're looking around and okay, what if in this room is the table? And then there's the oven. He comes back and she's gone. And then we looked and there was just this pitchfork just there. And then we grabbed it and we're like, oh, that's it. He's got to get the pitchforks. But that was like 4 days before shooting.
Yeah.
We're like, oh, it'll be like the Prowler. Cause I remember the pitchfork death in the Prowler. So then him coming around with a pitchfork. Oh yeah. Then she can hide and he can poke. And we're like, what if we just start coming up with stuff? And then she goes here. And then what if he's in the middle of the room and she's hiding behind the door? Like we start talking through it. And then we're like, oh, it's great. And then he gets her, puts it in the oven. I go, let's go check out that kitchen. We went to the kitchen and we're like, oh my God, now you can see where John Carver has the 2 different streams and the different timers and all that kind of stuff, all this tech. And then there's a mattress on the floor and pizza boxes. He's been sleeping here. And who is this? This disgusting. They're like, oh, what if she's in the fridge? Like Texas Chainsaw Massacre with the girl in the freezer. And then, he gets her and she runs. And then Jeff was like, no, do the thing in Predator where she does the fake out with the footsteps, the blood. You see the blood. And then the pitchfork comes to us. I'm calling my prop guy. I go, we need a duplicate pitchfork, and taking pictures of the wall. I go, we need a fake wall. Can you do it in 3 days? Got to ram the pitchfork through. It's just the process where you're with Jeff and Milan, where we just walk. Once we have the scene, we have the oven kill. We're shooting it for 2.5 days, probably a full day in the oven, day in the prep room. What can we do? And then we just walk through and you just start like throwing stuff out and figuring it out. But that's it. That you just have to trust. You have to trust you're going to figure it out. That's part of it.
Yeah.
And then Justin Harding is a fantastic director. You should see his episodes of the Haunted Museum that he did. It's amazing. Justin does this program, Frameforge, where he can rebuild the space in 5 minutes and set up the exact camera and the exact lens and stand-ins and the props. So he just builds it in Frameforge. And then we now have a perfect visual representation of where we're going to shoot. And if we're starting shoot on Monday, on Friday, me and Justin will start building shots and doing camera moves. And then I'm sending those to my editor, and the two editors are going, okay, yeah, we'll add a close up here. So let's add it. So by the time we go in, we've walked through the location, we talked it out, we've gone through, we put it in frame for it, we figured it out. And so then when you're shooting, you're just knocking out the shots that you already planned. But that's prep.
Awesome.
That's the prep. You got to go to location and walk around and figure it out.
Makes sense. So I know we got to wrap, but last question. Obviously, Thanksgiving has been incubating for a long time, and horror subgenres go in and out. Like we had torture porn, then there was found footage, and then we're coming out of elevated. What do you think paved the way for this to be the time for Thanksgiving to be released?
I have no idea. There hadn't been there are the established slasher franchises like Halloween and Scream. They're like the legacy franchises, but I hadn't seen, and there's supernatural stuff that comes out. Obviously, Talk to Me and The Nun and James Wan stuff, but there hadn't been like a new slasher, a new holiday slasher in a while. And of course, in the ensuing years after the trailer, I was like, oh, I hope no one does this. That would really suck. So we figured, yeah, 16 years is a long time to sit on an idea, but I think people were just ready. I wanted to make a movie that reminded people of how fun these films were. Like sometimes you're ahead of the trend. Sometimes you are the trend. Sometimes you're behind the trend. You never know. I didn't know Cabin Fever would be at the beginning of a wave, or Hostel would be right at the wave. And then other times I'm making a movie like Green Inferno, where I'm like, this is to show people what a cannibal movie is. These aren't popular.
Yeah.
Of the horror, this is considered the bottom of the barrel of the subgenre, and I love them. So why don't I make one that makes people go back and rediscover the old ones? So I tend to pick stuff that is my personal taste, that I'm like, don't forget about these, because these are really fun too. Even if it's not what the masses or the mainstream want or is popular at the moment, I just wanted to show people how much fun they can have. And it's nice that people gave it a chance, and other people had never seen a movie like this or rediscovering it, going back and watching the old ones.
Yeah, it's exactly what happened with me. It's prompted me to finally see Cannibal Holocaust. I know we got to bounce, but I really appreciate it, Eli. Always a pleasure talking, and really psyched.
Awesome. Nice talking to you, Nick.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks, man. Thanks for the support.
Thank you.